Hello, this is Mark Rollins from TheGeekChurch, and today we got a very special review, something we've, again, never done before. We are actually reviewing a board game here. And I got a special guest here, Tiffany Grote, and she's reviewed these 3 games. We're going to have actually 3 different games from, I believe it's OJO, is the name of the company. These were sent to me for review. I've had her go over them, and now she can talk about them.
Hey guys, so this game is really great for teaching atomic structures, and you are learning how to use formulas, the periodic table. So it's kind of basic chemistry for kids, and how it works is you're going to take your character based on protons, neutrons, and electrons, kind of like your particle superhero, and you're going to go around the board depending on what you roll with your movement dice, and then in addition to that you're going to roll these dice, which are yellow, blue, green, and those are going to determine how many protons, neutrons, and electrons you get to pick up. You have spaces where you're either going to collect based on those dice, or you're going to form one of your elements based on where you land. The elements become more complex. As you collect particles, you're going to be placing them in your atom boards to create different elements. It's a really great way to visualize what makes up the world. And so you're gonna be, let me see if we can put it right here. You're just gonna put these in here, and then as you need more of the protons, neurons, then you're going to create a 3-dimensional stack within, depending on that element. And then these little guys, the electrons, go like this. You'll be able to refer to your formula sheet and your periodic table to determine how many of each thing you're going to need. As far as the gameplay goes, this was my favorite of the 3 games that OJO sent, and I liked that I was able to learn things about chemistry. I did not take chemistry in school, so it was a new experience for me. The biggest downside to this particular game was the amount of time that it took to collect all of the electrons, protons, and neutrons, and then having to place them in the boards. So after a while, we just kind of collected them into our bank and spent them instead of actually putting them in the boards. But if the point is to teach that visualization, I think that it's really great. Just again, it was kind of a time thing for us. Also, the rulebook could use some editing as far as clarity of instructions, and there's even a typo. Other than that, yeah, this is my favorite game out of the 3. Do you have any questions about it?
Yeah, I do. Is the object of the game to make essentially one of these things full? Or what is...
So there's actually multiple of these.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hey.
But once you're done with it, you do end up emptying them because you will sometimes need multiple to create your different formulas. So for this one, O2, you might need 2 different ones, and then you're gonna stack the according. You're gonna fill them with the according thing for oxygen. Okay. So you're gonna have 8 protons, 8 electrons, and 8 neutrons. All right. To create your oxygen. So then this is going to have 2 of those.
It doesn't seem to have like an ending goal. How does a player win, per se?
Okay, so to win the game, you're going to be the first to the finish line. And so kind of what happens as you go along is these become more complex. You're going to need more of the particles. You're going to need more of them. So sometimes when you'll get to one of these more complex structures, you're not going to have enough, and then you have to stay on that space. So somebody theoretically could pass you. It's very much a game of chance because it's your rolls that determine where you're landing, what you're collecting, as far as who actually gets to the finish line first.
Would you say this is the more complex of the 3 games? As far as
So this one is made for ages 6 and up, and the other games that we were sent were 5 and up. So it is the next level game, but I did play with my almost 4-year-old, and she was able to play just fine. Because it's easy to just be able to refer to these sheets that we were given to determine what number of particles we needed for each molecule.
I'll say I kind of like sort of like the game almost has sort of a crafting element, kind of like Minecraft or Animal Crossing, where you just make up this. It's like I take this, and I've got this now. So honestly, I think this is very educational. So this thing does have a lot of pluses in it. Yeah, they could use we got a few typos and stuff like that, but overall the game is quite playable and very educational, so alright. And our next game is Space Rescuers. Take it away, Tiffany.
Alright, so in Space Rescuers, what you're doing is taking your little astronaut around space, and you're going to be landing at each of these little stations, and you're trying to collect space trash. This is your player board, and it will start empty, and then you'll try to fill it with as much space trash as possible. How you earn that space trash or points is when you land at these stations, they're either going to allow you to pick up a space card or a planet card, both of which have multiple choice questions or true or false questions. When you get those correct, you get to pick up a piece of space trash. So the objective, how you win the game, is to finish with the most space trash. So the game ends when both people reach the finish line. In this game, however, we did end up having to stop early because I kept getting sent back through this black hole. And so it was taking forever. I swear I landed on it 3 times in a row. So we just kind of called it and determined who got the most space trash. But it was great for learning space facts and planet facts. However, I believe this game has limited replayability because once you learn the facts, you know the facts. So you're looking at maybe 1 to 2 playthroughs. The rulebooks also didn't say what happened if you ran out of space cards, so we assumed you just ended up drawing the planet cards since we had already answered the questions about the space card and everybody in the room knew the answer. So that's how we ended up doing it. The rulebook was missing some instructions, there's some gaps in it, and even the back of the box had additional instructions that the rulebook didn't have.
That's strange.
Yeah, so rulebooks could use a little bit of work and again, limited playthroughs, but it was really great to be able to learn facts. It's got a cute theme, obviously, with our little poo pile space trash.
Oh, heck yeah.
And that made it fun for my daughter, who is, again, almost 4 years old, and she was able to play this just fine, and we all learned together, which was really cool.
So I noticed that there's a path here that starts from Earth and then just kind of veers around through space. Mm-hmm. Like, oh hey, look, Pluto's there. We still count him as a planet, I guess? Okay.
So Pluto is not a planet in this game. We got that question incorrect. How many planets? Because when I went to school, it was a planet, and now it's not a planet.
Yeah, everyone talks about that one. And, okay, it's weird that their path, they start at Earth, and then it looks like you backtrack going all the way, and you got stuck in this black hole here.
I did.
That is a shame that black hole was there, and it's like, I don't know if that's factually accurate that I don't think there's actually a black hole in the Milky Way right there, but, hey look, oh my gosh, Halley's Comet is in this game, dang!
There is a black hole in the Milky Way.
Okay, yeah, I like how there's space trash, this apple core, and then this fishbone just somehow in there. And this game is, what, environmentally conscious, you would say? Is that what we're doing?
Yes, we are picking up the trash in the space, cleaning it up, and there's a couple spots that you even earn bonuses.
That's cool. Yeah, so it looks like we start from Earth, go all the way to Pluto, and then head back. It's dropping by Venus and Mercury. That's nice that we can drop off our trash at Mr. Sun here. He seems happy to get it.
Just burn it.
So honestly, and oh hey, look, it's Matt Damon on Mars. I'm gonna science the poop out of this. Okay, so anyway, this looks like kind of a fun game, and you said your 4-year-old played this, and it's 5 and up. Okay, not bad.
So I would also just add that because of the limited playability, these games all in general have that, where once you learn the facts, then you're probably looking at between 1 to 3 plays before you've learned all there is to learn. And so I would recommend these either for a classroom setting. It would have to be more of a small classroom because to sit down and teach the rules is going to take a lot of time on behalf of the teacher, or using it in a homeschool co-op where you're passing the game around to different kids who could benefit from learning new facts.
Could you give an example of one of the questions?
Yeah,
okay.
Sure. So let's go for a planet card. And the rule book does have answers for reference. So you have to be kind of cautious if you're the rule book reader, not to read all the questions around and get all the answers.
That's weird.
But there's reference numbers, and whether it's a planet card or a space card is going to determine where you're going to find it in the rule book. And this is card number 11, so you can find that answer right away in the rule book. One of the cards was misnumbered, however. But other than that, it was very easy to find them. The first time a human touched the moon was in 1969 when Neil Armstrong walked the moon spaceship or largest planet ever. And this one was in the name, so I was able to hint at my daughter, like it said moon right in it.
Okay, yeah.
But let's check out another couple questions. So for planets again, how many planets are in the solar system?
Oh, yeah.
10, 9, or 8?
Shoot. Okay, that might be difficult.
That's
you
a
said
trick
Pluto,
one.
Yeah, Pluto isn't a planet anymore, so according to this game, so it's 8, right?
Yes, 8.
Okay.
And then a space card is gonna say, let's see, the first time anything made by humans touched outer space was in 1957 when the USA, Korea, or Russia launched its first satellite, Sputnik.
Oh, that'd be Russia.
I believe that's correct. Because of lower gravity, a person who weighs 90 kilograms on Earth would only weigh 35 kilograms, 20 kilograms, or 15 kilograms on the surface of Mars.
30 kilograms, right?
35?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay, so let me check. We're gonna refer to the rule book, space card number 10. The answer is 35 kilograms.
Okay. All right. Okay, we'll move on to our next game. All right, our third and final game is Dino Age Journey. Take it away, Tiffany.
All right, so in this one, again, we're moving around the board, just like with the other games. We're gonna start here, and the game asks us to stop at every single station along the way. Depending on the color, those coordinate with different cards that are going to quiz you about either dinosaurs, tools used in excavation, or carbon dating, which is gonna provide you with a math question. And you have your little referral here for finding that fossil age using a little bit of multiples of 10 math. For example, if you land on, obviously the first one is a dinosaur. So you're gonna pick up your dinosaur card. And this one says, find the dinosaur that had strong thighs and a long, powerful tail to help it move quickly. This one was actually tricky and I don't remember what the answer was. Can you guess?
Is it this guy?
So what you want to do is you want to find the question, like this has an egg here. The question, the dinosaur has either a bone, egg, or food or little measuring tape, and so that'll just kind of coordinate with what's on the card. So we're going to find the one that has the egg picture. And it says, nope, this one is not the one. So we didn't get it correct. And this is where the rule book was missing information. It doesn't say that we don't move on past that spot, but the objective is to be the first to finish. So we're assuming that if you don't get it correct, that you have to stay there and either try your hand at the same question or draw a new card and try again. As you get questions correct, you're going to be able to add them to your museum. So each have a museum board. And if you get a question correct based on where you land, if your answer about a tool, your tool question, if it was the brush, for example, you'd get to take that brush and add it to your museum. If you got this question correct and say it was this dinosaur, then you'd get to add the dinosaur to your museum.
Okay, sweet.
And same thing, I assume, again, the rule book here was vague and lacking some instructions. The back of some of these boxes do give additional instructions that sometimes vary from the rule book, so it was able to help us out to a certain extent. And it is cool, the concept of adding these items to your museum and collecting as you go.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that you make it your entire museum, and that's kind of the goal of the game. Is honestly, that's kind of awesome. I mean, I play Animal Crossing, and you get to play, you get to form a museum there, and it's kind of one of the fun parts of the game. So it's kind of cool that you designed a game around this.
Would you like to try a carbon dating question?
Heck yes!
All right.
Let's do this.
Calculate the age of the Ankylosaurus using the carbon dating process. So assuming we know what the Ankylosaurus is, which one is that?
Well, I'm pretty sure it's this guy right here.
This guy right here. So we're gonna move our stack. I'm assuming the stack's supposed to go on the corresponding shape. That wasn't exactly in the rule book, but you can count the number of the carbon here, and then we refer to our carbon dating guide where it says that you're going to do some math. You're going to multiply the number of carbon by 10 to find the millions of years old that dinosaur is.
Okay, so there's like about 8 of those, so it's 18.
So then we can refer to the answers in the rulebook right here. We're finding, what dinosaur were we doing? We are finding the Ankylosaurus, and that is 80 million years old.
Okay.
So The
bad.
carbon dating is very simple as long as you know how to do multiples of 10.
Okay.
Let's try for a tool question.
Sure.
All right. The paleontologists need to find the area where the fossil is buried. What tool did they need to use to find the area?
I'd have to say this tool. This looks like a GPS.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
What does the answer say?
GPS is used to show the fossil location on the map. We're going to go with that.
Yep.
I'm sticking that in my museum. Hooray.
So with each of these, you'll find whether your answer was correct by looking at the corresponding tool or dinosaur. And yeah, it's cool to fill your museum with the things that you get correct. So it can take a long time to get to the finish line because the rules ask us to stop at every single station. It would be probably a little bit more fun, fast pace if we were to spin for a different color and go to the next one of that color, or to roll a dice and move that many. That could make for a short game, but it might also be good for younger kids and also maybe create a little bit more playability. Similar to the other games, once you learn all of the facts there is to know about these particular dinosaurs' tools and carbon dating, then you lose the replayability, but you could pass this game on to the next kid, either in your homeschool group or other parents that you know, family, that kind of thing.
Okay. Well, speaking of which, did you play this with your kids?
I did. So I played this with my almost 4-year-old again, and my husband. We all sat together. My husband got a surprising amount wrong, so apparently he needs to learn more about dinosaurs. It was kind of fun. But the other thing that I like about these games is looking online at the prices. It seems like these are pretty affordable for a nice, easy learning game. It makes it a little bit more interesting to learn about these particular categories of science for kids who need a more tactile learning experience versus auditory or visual. And it kind of meets all of those in certain ways, but the kids who learn tactilely, these are really great options.
Okay, so that's 3 games we reviewed today with Atomic Force, Space Rescuers, and Dino Age Journey. And this is Mark from the Geek Church, as well as Tiffany Grote. And we might do this again if we get a game to review. This is the first time we've done this. I'm hoping it's not the last time. This is a pretty fun adventure. So, okay, we're signing off.